Hey guys, how's it going? This is Michael, and this is my spoiler-free movie review of Tenet. Now, we haven't released an episode in a while. I'm just going to blow right past that. Things have been crazy. And you'll notice Kyle's not here with me. He is working. And so I'm going to be doing this review on my own because I just saw the movie and I do have some things to say about it. Okay, so I just saw Tenet. After waiting, what seems to be a couple years for this movie. We had the crazy trailers released and, nobody really knew anything about the movie. And let me tell you, it was not good at all. There were so many things to this movie that made it just terrible. You know that really cool explanation scene at the end of like Ocean's 11 where they are saying what's going on and you can see it happening and it all makes sense because they took the whole movie ahead of time and prepared it for that, and then it made sense within the movie and what they were trying to accomplish, and then they had all the explanation crazy scenes. That was this movie, but the whole movie. Basically 80% of the movie is explanation of the movie. It's like that scene mixed together with 007 scenes where you have M explaining what the mission is to James Bond while he's listening. It's those two things put together. The whole movie is exposition, and you still don't even know what the movie's about. After having just watched the movie, I'm just as, if not more, confused about the plot of the movie as I was when I was watching the trailers for the movie. This movie was intentionally made so that you have to watch it 10 times in a row in order to understand what the movie is about. And in general, that's just not a good strategy. It's like he took the cool part of Inception where it's kind of layered and you kind of get it and it takes a second to understand it. But if you watch it one time, you can understand it kind of. But if you want to go into it more, you can understand more of it. But this movie is like, okay, that was a great hit with Inception. We had people thinking about it. Now let's make something 100 times more complicated and cram it into the movie. And we'll explain it the whole way, but we won't explain it at all. And that'll be a great movie. And people will have to rewatch it and they'll be talking about it. That's what this movie is. You don't know what's going on. Like literally, I can't even tell you the characters' names in the movie. There's zero character development for any of the characters, maybe one. You don't know the background, you don't know the history, you don't know anything leading up to this. While you're watching the movie, I came out of the movie and I still don't know any of this stuff. Just, there's too much going on. It's Christopher Nolan telling people how amazing he is with plot points and interweaving things together so much to the point that nobody who watches the movie can understand or follow it. I know I'm speaking for everyone here. I'm sure there are some people out there that can do the research into the movie and, pick out different scenes and say, oh, this relates to this. But that's my point, is that you have to do that in order to understand the movie. You can't just go and watch the movie and understand the movie. Now, on top of that, the orchestra, the background music was so loud the entire time that it overwhelmed the dialogue. The dialogue in and of itself is kind of hard to hear because there are very heavy accents inside the movie. So it's kind of hard to understand the dialogue anyway. But then they add on the orchestral music the entire time. The entire movie is playing intense orchestra music. Literally the entire time. There is no stopping. And it's so loud that it overwhelms all the dialogue and you can't even hear the actors explaining, which is all they're doing the entire movie. And then you get to the end of the movie and you're like, what did I just watch? I vaguely understand the plot of the movie, but not really at all. If you are creating a movie that has to be watched several times over and you have to do a lot of research into the movie in order to understand the movie, I think that's a bad movie, in my opinion. You're going to have to watch this movie with subtitles. I don't see any other way to try to understand what the movie's about. The concept of the time travel that you see, in the trailers is not really explained. It's just, and at one point they do say, don't think about it too much. Like it was a character in the movie that says, don't think about it too much. And that was kind of, I think, a hint to the audience to like, hey, don't think about this too much. Go along with the ride. But then they create this world where it's so many intricacies and you have to think about it. Well, if you have to think about it, but you're telling me not to think about it, there's a disjointing there. I sat back and watched it for an hour and a half or 2 hours or however long it was, and it just happened to me. It felt like it was a scene from The Office where the grandma is in Niagara Falls, and she said Bruno came onto the television, and I sat there and it just happened to me. That's what I felt like for this movie. I don't get it. Maybe if I can understand the dialogue, maybe if they tamp down the orchestra. I can't tell you if it's the worst movie in the world or if it has the greatest plot in the world and Christopher Nolan's a genius. And I can't say that because I didn't understand the movie. Between the dialogue and the orchestra and all the explosions that were just happening randomly, and it's just disjointed. That was the movie. It's just disjointed. I have to give it like 3 stars out of 10. And the only reason it's getting 3 stars out of 10 is because 1, clearly they spent a lot of money on it. There was a lot of explosions, a lot of big things happening. 2, they did at one point say, don't think about it too much, and I'll give them kudos for that. And 3, it came out during a time, during the pandemic, where he probably knew not a lot of people would be able to get access to this movie, so that's pretty ballsy. So I'll give him a point for that. So that's 3 points, and that's all you're gonna get from me. Please comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the movie if you've seen it. I'm curious to see if other people got it and I just didn't for whatever reason. It was a confusing movie. I got certain parts of it and other parts of it were just, sit back and watch, but it wasn't even a good sit back and watch with a popcorn because most of the movie was dialogue. I imagine all this stuff would make sense if you sat down and dissected it. But if you have to sit down and dissect it, that's not a good movie, in my opinion, at least. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. This is a spoiler-free review. I would do a spoiler review, but honestly, I don't know what I just watched. So I don't think I can give any spoilers, even if I wanted to. So appreciate it. We're going to try to get the channel back up. The next time Kyle will be with me. Thanks for watching. And as always, this is Michael, and this has been a critique on the universe of movies.